hear me? Is my voice coming through?
I I thought that Sam bought them for Old Main for Windows or something. I don't know why she brought them here. I'm pretty sure she was. Yeah, I don't know. Take them to the gym or something. Guys, say you're ready then, Evan. Yeah, say it. That's fine. Oh, that's okay. All right. The game is going to start between LCBI and our opponents are. Ooh, where are they from? From Maple Mountain in Utah. All right. It'll be about 10 seconds until we can see what is happening. This first map is what they would call a control map. So with a control map, it's kind of like a capture the hill. The teams kind of try and control a certain zone, and you have to hold it for 100 seconds.
As cheery
And
as you are
um,
significant.
within that time, if you can hold it 100 seconds before your opponent holds it 100 seconds, you'll win. At 99 seconds, it'll give them a few moments of overtime where you can end up having both teams sitting at over 99, and then whoever wins the last fight can win. But let's see how it goes from here.
questionable choices to a minimum.
Yeah, for those that have watched over the last couple of years, we had several of our players graduate last year, so we're kind of doing a bit of a reset with the team, and some young new players and some players that hadn't had opportunities over the last couple of years. So we're seeing a lot of growth and stuff out of the team so far this year.
Yeah, and it looks like the other team is set up on the high ground, which is kind of an advantageous position as far as they can see us sometimes when we can't see them. So we'll have to kind of figure ourselves out and see if we can take some space here.
They're really doing a good job of taking the tank support away and stuff. So good strategy on their part for hunting down those support and DPS players. See the team doing a reset and looking to push back in.
And I'm just going to go over some of the new faces you see on the team right now. So we have Muyo, who is Piper Murdoch, who is starting for the first time in a tank position. She's playing a character called Sigma. And we have a couple more players here for the first time today. We have Peter Haberstock. He is playing in a DPS role. And we have Sarah Knutson. She is playing in a support role. And
Let the Kitsune guide you.
who else is And we also have Henry
Good push
Fair.
by the team there.
Henry Fair is our last support that's sitting on the bench ready to play.
And LCBI flips the point. That was a good push by the team. Coordinated effort to cover each other there, and well done support from the team.
Looks like Maple Mountain used a bunch of their ultimate abilities to get the advantage on that fight. So that will leave the LCBI team an opportunity to have their next battle where we have an upper hand with our ultimate ability economy, which will mean that we have abilities that the other team will not have access to, and it will just be seeing if those abilities can be used to our advantage or not.
It does look like we have used a few of those abilities, and some of them worked, and some of them maybe didn't work quite as well. So we did flip the point for a very short period of time, but we appear to struggling to hold it here. Again, we're spread out, not where we've seen success was when they were within range to be able to support each other.
Yeah.
Definitely.
One thing to remember
definitely,
is our team is playing some of them for the first time together.
Yes, very much. There's been a lot of effort in practice to focus on some of those things, but it's still very new for a lot of these folks.
Push your limits. Nothing breaks that I can't mend. We must reverse the course that we are on.
Hey.
So again, you see the opponents really focusing on that high ground and using those angles effectively. We'll see if we can, use our own angles as well instead of, we don't want to get into a position where we're caught out in the open. So. definitely some positioning things that we can work on here. You know, we did see some success when the team moved together to kind of support each other there, but we have to make sure that everybody's focused in the same area. We definitely still have some challenges. We're moving maybe not with the coordinated effort that we're hoping. So, but again, that's some of the finer details that will separate a top team from a newer team, and so we expect to see some of those things, especially in the preseason here when the kids have only had a couple of weeks to work together.
One interesting note is that the team we're playing now, we have played in playoffs, so they are one of the high-level teams in the league.
Yeah, definitely an established program for sure. So.
All right.
So again, some good things to take away there, and again, one of the parts of the program as a whole is we do review these recordings and learn from some of our opportunities and go over the good things and use those to really help reinforce and improve the players. So again, I think there's definitely some opportunities, but I saw some really good things there that we didn't see last week. So definitely some positives to take away there. So we're moving into the second game mode here, and the second game mode, I believe, is going to be hybrid. So Kings Row is the map that's been chosen. So we'll be on the offense here. So we're going to push in and try and hold a control point. And then the hybrid portion comes when basically a mobile control point comes out, and then we have to try and move it along a predetermined path and continue to move it along. It moves as long as one of our players is in close proximity. and it speeds up up to if you have 3 players in close proximity, it achieves its max speed. So there's definitely some strategy there. And then obviously on the defense side of things, they're looking to hold certain choke points that would have to pass through. So definitely a lot of strategy involved with this, and we'll see how the Bisons do with their communication and such.
That's right, Mark. Hi, Andy Prokopchik here, back. Sorry I'm late, folks, but yeah, Mark, great to be joining you here. All right, so Bisons are off. Are we going to be doing a play-by-play, or do we want to let them cook?
Yeah, no, we definitely can. Again, we're playing against one of the top teams over the last few years. They're definitely a playoff team, so we've got some opportunities to really learn here as we move forward with our new young team. So we'll see how they pull out.
Yeah, I'm excited. Any particular players that you're looking for today? I know last week's game there was a lot of lessons maybe learned. What kind of things were you guys working on training-wise throughout the week, and how are you looking at seeing how that transfers over to today's game?
Yeah, there's been a large focus, primarily on positioning and communication. Those are some of the things that are a challenge for seasoned players of the game, but that have never played in a competitive format like this. So communication and positioning are definitely the key things that I'm looking for here. I'm definitely seeing some improvement from the team versus last week, and so that's really great. But definitely still seeing some opportunities out here. So.
Yeah, coordination is key. I mean, if you got a plan, you stick to the plan, that's great. But also kind of working together as a team. No more lone wolfing the objective. We just saw their starting point getting isolated from their team. And maybe communication would have helped, saying, hey, guy, they snuck in behind us. Somebody turn around, help deal with this guy, and then we can push a team of 4 as opposed to a team of 5. But yeah, lessons learned. Lessons learned. Hopefully the Bisons continue communicating and can get that coordination in there to push that objective.
Time for the reckoning.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we have to continue to working on, and definitely just obviously we can't hear the team, but just watching how they're reacting, I'd say that that communication could still be improved. So I do see that the team has 3 ultimate abilities built up, so we'll see if they can use those effectively to really open up some space. So
yeah, that was a huge issue we had last week. Oh, here we go. We're getting an ultimate right now. Which from Aquamarine. It looks like the Bisons didn't push through to support Evan Chang, but we're right now on Star Trek fan. Caleb Turton getting 2 KO and an assist. Not too bad, but again, it was definitely. Oh, looks like starting point, which is Colin Keith having an ultimate sitting in there, and for the Colin Keith's ultimate with his character can be absolutely devastating, especially on this map if you get a good advantage point. So definitely gonna be interesting to see how Colin utilizes that special ability. Yikes! So it looks like starting point.
Yeah,
Colin Keith got taken out. I think what big thing there is again that communication, saying, guys, I'm gonna use my ultimate. Get one of the support to switch to healing them, making sure that they can actually pull off that KO. But all
yeah,
right.
for sure, that's very important. So, again, tough start for the LCBI team, but some good things, and again, some things to work on. So, and especially during preseason, that's one of the we're not even in the games that count yet. So, working on these things, learning from these things. Now is our opportunity to try some of this stuff, and it's more about the process than the results right now. So
yeah, exactly. Let's get shake those cobwebs off, identify some key areas of growth, and then as you guys as a coaching staff, absolutely have to execute that with the players. So okay, Mark, We have some returning players. We lost some key players, unfortunately, due to them aging out. I did what I could as their teacher, trying to fail them so we could keep them for another year. But unfortunately, we had to pass them. They had to move on. So we also have new players. New players join us. So, Mark, is there anybody you got your eye on the new roster? So maybe some new players that are new to LCBI.
Yeah, no. So we saw in the last game mode, the tank in the last game mode, brand new player here, showing a lot of talent already, for really never
I'll keep you
having
safe.
played the game. So, looking forward to seeing the growth there. Uh, we do have a couple of younger grade 9 and 10 students. Cobalt Shadow currently in the lineup is one of them. A sibling of one of our departed alumnus from last year. So it's nice to see the program continuing to grow in that facet and seeing it spread. We have a lot of new players and the team is definitely growing enough that we've moved to 2 practices a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So. Just to have enough space in the lab and give people opportunities. So, all of those new players as they get opportunities, I think just looking for them to work on the things that we've gone through in practice. So.
Yeah. Now, when they're running for these positions or applying for these positions, are you looking at doing tryouts based off position, or you say, hey, let me just see what you got in every position and see how it transfers over, and seeing you guys make
a lot of. Yeah, a lot of it comes from just the desire. There's we can kind of give them the basics of the position to kind of see where they feel they might fit, and then as we watch how they play the game, we make different recommendations on different characters, or even perhaps even different roles. So, speaking of which, the tank from our first match originally she DPS or damage was kind of her role, and just watching her play, she just had a natural instinct to be that person holding the spot as a tank. And so again, we've seen some really great stuff out of her, and looking forward to seeing that continue as we move forward. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, so I guess while we were kind of talking, looks like the Bisons lost that second round. I believe, was that the second game of the tonight, or was that the third?
That was the second. Sorry.
That was
So.
the second. Okay,
Yeah,
so
we still have one more yet.
okay, so the game modes. I think there was a bit of confusion from last week about the order in which we play them. So it used to be control first, starting off with control, and then go to hybrid.
Yeah, it is still control then hybrid, and then so we just did hybrid with Kings Row there, and then escort is number 3. So.
Escort's number 3. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna be moving to escort. I don't know how I feel about that. One of my favorite game modes is actually push. That is one of my favorite game modes.
I 100% agree. I find that it's one that really forces the teams to be malleable. You can't just keep going with one strategy. You have to be able to adapt, I guess is the word I'm looking for, and be able to kind of think on your feet with push. I agree. Push is I wish it was in the top 3.
Dramatic finish, I guess you could say. I mean, if you can get through control and hybrid and escort, and have the results kind of even out, it could be tough. It could be tough then, finishing off with push.
Yes.
I guess what's the 5th game mode?
The 5th game mode is Flashpoint, which is
wow.
new. It was not something we had last year.
No, I think wasn't Flashpoint the first? Like I couldn't, because Flashpoint is just control, but isn't that like more quick?
Yes, you're right. Yes, we did have it last year, but and maybe we did start with it last year. I know in the game community, Flashpoint is often one that is less desirable. Put it that way. So.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the Bisons do a little bit later on in the season when we get more, I guess, or better matched up with the other teams. I mean, the preseason is always tough, right? Because you sometimes get matched up with teams who are way below your tier, which doesn't make. I mean, it's kind of a fun rah-rah when you're on the winning side. But you know, obviously, like days like last week, like today, where we're playing some very skilled teams, you know, it can be a bit demoralizing. But on the flip side of that, though, it does show you the benchmark. Where do you need to get to in order to have a competitive edge or a competitor, like I guess a goal of being one of the top teams in the league. So again, kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and especially for some of these new players, again with the preseason, never having been involved necessarily in a competitive format like this, giving them a glimpse. Like you said, it can be demoralizing, but as long as they go in with the right mindset and understand where they're at and where we're working towards. So this map, we're going to have 3 of our new players. So Silverhawk, Mew, and Cobalt Shadow, all 3 rookies this year. So, joining Skyfire and Star Trek Fan. Two of Star Trek Fan has been in the program. I think it's for 4 years now, and one of our grade 12 students. He's been a real rock for the team this year, and in bringing new players and making them welcome to the program. Really appreciate the efforts that the returning students are making in that vein as well to make sure that the new players feel welcomed and enjoying their experience.
Yeah, well, at least be able to like internalize the experience. Because I mean, again, like, and fans who are watching, you know this. You know, you're watching the game. It looks pretty easy on third-person mode, where you might second-guess yourself. And then when I switch to first-person, you're like, oh my goodness, like what? How can they respond that quickly? Because it is a fast-paced game, and sometimes you're like, before you know it, the game's over, and you don't really have a time to internalize what you've just been through. Which I guess, which is why like the reviewing the game footage is really important. I imagine that's a big part of your process, Mark. How does reviewing the game footage go with you guys? Like, do you have a special practice that's dedicated to reviewing footage? Is that like homework you give them, saying review the footage?
Yeah,
come back, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. So it used to be our game days used to be Wednesdays. So we used to review footage on Thursday practice. Now with games on Monday, we're going to have to review kind of the timing of our practices. It definitely changes things for sure. But yes, we usually devote most of one of our weekly practices to reviewing film, and we also encourage the kids to just go back and review as well on their own. Having that ability is definitely beneficial. So
yeah, absolutely.
But when we're looking at that film again, we're just critiquing positioning and asking what were you thinking here, or what did you see here. Trying to
I imagine
make sure
it's much more nice than that. What were you thinking?
Oh, there's definitely times for sure.
Yeah.
But again, the kids are here. They're looking to do better, and watching film is actually a really positive experience for the most part, because we can we can give them opportunities, and it's also important to look at the good as well as the bad, right? What were the good things that we did here, and what worked? Just to help solidify that in their minds as they move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've started our escort. We've started our escort just really quickly. The escort game mode, it's a classic payload challenge. One team escorts an objective to the target, while the other defends. Timely checkpoints and overtime come into play. So right now the Bisons are on offense. We're trying to push that payload. We got to reach that first checkpoint. If you look at the top of the screen, you'll notice there's that red bar with the blue bar, and there's those 2 red diamonds. Those are the checkpoints. We got to escort it up to the first checkpoint. Right now we've made 19.59 meters, and we actually have to get it to that first checkpoint in 2 minutes and 33 seconds now. So the Bisons right now are waiting to respawn a full team. You might be wondering, well, why aren't they getting into the action right at the get-go? You don't want to send people in one at a time. You send one person at a time, you're 5-on-1. So sometimes you'll see the Bison strategically pull back or wait for their team to respawn, and then they're going to get right back into the action like they're doing now. Hopefully with the game plan, and this is where that communication kind of comes into, we can see here Silverhawk kind of separated from their team, getting hunted down by one of the opposing team's damage. It looks like the Bisons are slowly falling apart. Close to a team wipe here. All right, Silverhawk still. I was able to avoid the enemy and keeping the enemy busy. So here we go. Can you talk a little bit about, Mark, Silverhawk? Which character are they playing, what role they're playing, and what the strategy this Silverhawk should be employing right now?
Yeah, so Silverhawk looks like he's just changing characters. Was playing Sombra, who's kind of a character that really needs to play kind of in the shadows, in the back, kind of messing around. Just switched over to Cassidy, and which is a character that does damage from a distance and is quite mobile. So hopefully we'll see him putting some fire on the enemy here.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, obviously they're playing a very skilled team here. The Bisons are struggling to keep that payload moving. In fact, the payload's been moving back because Bisons. Mark, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah, definitely, requires some coordination as far as where they're pushing. We're not seeing that coordination necessarily. We're seeing kind of everyone looking at different targets and different angles. Having somebody call who they're going after is key, so that we're focusing and creating that large focus damage to overwhelm their supports and healing.
Assigning aggro, saying, all right, we got to get rid of this tank, or we got to get rid of this support player. So everybody focus on them. Absolutely. I mean, this team's doing a very good job. I mean, they had a lot of their DPS just around that corner saying, well, we'll let the tank go have fun and kind of goof off, or like kind of keep them busy, keep the pressure up. But as soon as they fell back there, we saw the DPS just like a firing squad unloading on the Bisons. So, I mean, wonderful strategy based off them, and maybe something we could try duplicate for future matches.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of the strategies that we look to employ depending on the situation and the team composition, which is always key as well. Which is again a challenge in some of these preseason matches when you've got new players. They don't necessarily have the range of characters that some of the more experienced players have.
Yeah.
So your team composition is a little more limited in these matches, and you have to work with what you've got, right? And again, as we continue to improve, we'll see differences for sure. So.
Yeah. Well, we're on to defense now. So we were on the offense. Now we're on the defense. So you still see there the progress made by the Bisons. We made it up 19.59 meters. Essentially, what's going to happen is as soon as the opposition team gets it past that 19.59, the W is going to go to them, and subsequently that'll wrap up the game. But we'll never know. Who knows? Bisons might do a good job. Stop them at 5. Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. That's true.
Yeah, so we can see there the point highlighted on the map there. That gold rectangle on the street there. That's the point of no return. We cannot let the objective get past that point. So it'll be kind of cool to see, what kind of strategies the Bisons are currently employing, and how that transfers over to this defensive escort mission.
And you can see that definitely the other team is employing one very mobile DPS that's kind of getting around behind us, and one sniper. So they're definitely employing a really good mix there.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where you have to, like, see there, right there, our Cassidy Silverhawk was not really in the fight, and
Yes.
you see how quickly that we got defeated. So it's like, okay, well, in those instances, what do you do? Like, if there's a fight going on, and especially if it's only 19 meters, it's time to get in there and be like, well, this is the point of no return. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your personal safety and have those clutch moments.
Yep. No, and again, lots to work on this week, but some really good things. And I think the biggest thing I saw this week was some small tweaks. We saw some really good skills put forward by the team. So it's just some small tweaks around communication and positioning and some of those other things. And I think we're going to see some real improvement on this team very quickly. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's moves and counter moves, right? It's not, you gotta have the best laid plans, but it's weird when you get into the match and you show that first person mode. You're like, there's no way I would stick to that plan. It's just well, let's fly it overhead. your support's getting KO'd. So you can have the best plan, but it's being able to counteract the opposing team's strategy, right? So it's that give and take. You got to see what they give you to work with, and you got to take advantage of those opportunities as they present themselves. And that's the difference, I think, between a very skilled team and a very green junior team. And it is fun to think
Yes.
about the possibility. I mean, again, you're right. We got a very junior team here at LCBI, and it'll be interesting to see, how they fit into developing their skills and what type of players they're going to end up being.
Well, and that's just it. We got very lucky the last couple of years. We saw a real progression from those players across the 3 years that they were involved in the esports program, to that really high end graduating class. Um, and I do think that we are gonna see that again. Um, Personally, right now we're back at kind of that starting point where we don't have as many grade 12s in the program, but I do think that we are going to see that growth, and it takes a little bit of patience. But as we saw last year with how competitive the team was, those efforts are definitely worthwhile. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So you saw the game, you saw the match. So what are you going to be focusing on for training this week? Like, what kind of things do you think you're gonna focus on with the team?
Yeah, so definitely, again, we talked about communication and positioning, but really specifically, calling out when you need help. I think, we're going to talk about, having a couple of leaders on the team calling out the strategy so that people can focus and move towards that. And again, positioning. But now, we did a lot of individual positioning last week in practice. I think we're gonna have to work more on team composition positioning, moving forward. So those will probably be the two big keys, and then really starting to nail down some characters for the newer players, so that we get some team composition practice of so we can learn that as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like you guys have your work cut out for you. I think that's where we're going to wrap it up tonight, folks. Mark, thanks for. I always love having you around. It was good that you were here because I was busy in meetings all of after school. So thanks for coming down. I always like having you on. It's a lot easier
Awesome.
when it's not just one person.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate this, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. All right, folks. Have yourself a good evening. We will see you next Monday for our next matchup. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I guess we'll finish off with Go Bisons.